This presentation is about argument. Arguments are found in two types of writing. In argumentative papers, arguments defend specific issues. In persuasive papers, arguments are used to change a person's opinions by any means. How to discover if an argument is valid or convincing? First, find the author's main idea or argument. Second, locate facts or evidence to support the idea. Third, establish whether the author provides relevant, related, and adequate support. And fourth, determine if the argument is based upon logical reasoning. Here are some specific types of illogical reasoning or invalid arguments. Argument ad hominem, attacking the man. This is an attempt to discredit an idea by attacking the person who suggested it and not the idea itself. It follows the reasoning, don't listen to him, he's a lawyer. Argument from authority is another. As your president, I have evidence that you don't have. Take my word for it. The state has no money for raises. This is not an argument, but an appeal to faith, although that doesn't stop it from being true. Another is appeal to lack of evidence. For example, leprechauns cannot exist because no one has ever seen them. Now, the fact that no one has ever seen a leprechaun does not prove that leprechauns do not exist. Another example of an invalid argument is called begging the question. For example, making unproven assumptions before you start. For example, when did you start stealing from the company? Inconsistency is another fallacy. We must spend money to counteract terrorism, but it's silly to spend money on stopping global warming because it has not been proven for sure yet. Non sequitur, or does not follow, is another fallacy. For example, the greenhouse effect can't be real because Monty Python is on television. Post hoc ergo propter hoc, or after this, therefore, is another fallacy. For example, before women got the vote, there were no microwaves. Therefore, giving the women the vote created microwaves. Now, obviously, women getting the vote and microwaves have absolutely nothing in common. False dichotomy or alternatives, for example, only allowing the extremes, is another fallacy. Here's an example. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. You are either good or you are evil. Slippery slope is yet another fallacy. Here's an example. If we allow those people to have free checking, then they will expect small business loans with reasonable interest next. Confusion of correlation and causation is another fallacy. For example, birds have control over the seasons because as soon as they fly south, winter starts. When a person misrepresents a person's actual position, this is called a straw man. This sort of reasoning has the following pattern. Senator Smith says that we should not fund the attack submarine program. I disagree entirely. I can't understand why he wants to leave us defenseless like that. Only one hypothesis, or all or nothing at all, is another fallacy. If an argument only considers one possibility, it is not valid. For example, either you buy a large safe car and pay for it at the pump, or you buy a small economical car and get injured or killed in an accident. An argumentum ad populum, or bandwagon argument, concludes an argument to be true because many or all people believe it. It alleges that if many believe so, it is so. For example, since 88% of the people polled believed in UFOs, they must exist. A red herring is a deliberate attempt to change the subject or divert the argument. For example, the presidential candidate's tax policies may be popular, but I suspect he has had an affair and is paying the woman to keep quiet. The media should investigate that. Circular reasoning, or cause and consequence, occurs when the consequence of the phenomenon is claimed to be its root cause. This is also known as the chicken or the egg fallacy. A famous circular cause and consequence is presented by Lewis Carroll in Through the Looking Glass, where the White Queen states, "Jam yesterday and jam tomorrow, but never jam today." Since every tomorrow eventually becomes today, as the future turns into the present, and past is gone forever, the result is that poor Alice will never have jam. Did you know that Lewis Carroll wrote the book Alice in Wonderland? A solid argument has several characteristics. First, it has a clear main idea. It is supported by sufficient and relevant evidence, information, or quotes from experts. It is based on sound reasoning, and it's persuasive. It's important to learn to recognize and develop solid arguments, to score your own points, and to stay in the game.